Career low, and his 18 rushing yards would be tied for the third lowest of his career.
Well, yeah, because he didn't play. I mean, I'm sure there's other games where he might have had first 6 carries, only gained 18 yards, but he played the rest of the game, so he didn't play any. And he shouldn't play any. He's not good enough. He's had it. He's over the hill. He's done.
What's up, everybody? Adam Patrick here, co-editor of the Viking Age and your host of the Donut Club podcast. Welcome to episode 13. Today I'm going to be talking about Adrian Peterson's legacy with none other than Di Murphy. Some of you may know her from her writing occasionally for the Daily Norseman, another site that covers the Minnesota Vikings, while others may know her more from her Twitter account, where she is not afraid to let loose on her favorite NFL team. So let's not waste any more time, and let's get started. My first question for Di asked her about what her initial feelings were back in 2014 when it was revealed that Adrian Peterson had been charged with beating his 4-year-old child with a switch.
I was done with him. I was literally just done. And I'll just go on record as saying I was never a huge fan. I know there are people who were all about AP. But after I saw the pictures of the injuries he caused to that kid, and I mean, I'm not even sure he knows. I mean, he has I don't know how many kids, right? I mean, but it disgusted me.
Yeah.
You know, I work in school. I'm a teacher, and we have rules about we're literally required by state law to require or to report any kind of abuse. And even if you suspect, you're a mandated reporter. And if that kid had been in my class and I had seen that, for sure I would have reported.
Well, somebody obviously did, so.
Right. Exactly.
But I know you have kids, so was this ever a topic of conversation that was brought up around you? Did they ever ask you about it?
I mean, they kind of did. My kids are not huge sports fans. I know it's weird because they're half me, and I don't even understand how they're not. But I remember having a conversation with my son about it, and he asked me, and I'm like, whatever that happened is not okay. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you make. That is never okay to do to a kid. And I don't care what your background is. I remember him coming out and saying, oh, well, that's how we do it in the South. Mm-hmm. Sorry. No. I mean, that kind of injury that you caused to that kid, no, it's never okay. And my son was like, okay, well, I mean, I don't even spank my kids. I don't ever. One time I spanked my oldest because he was 4 and he was leaning out the screen of his bedroom window. And I was terrified he was going to fall out and die. And I spanked him. And I felt horrible after because that's not something that I subscribe to as a parent. I mean, I was hit as a kid. I mean, I got beat with a belt as a kid. But the thing is, that's not something that I ever subscribe to as a parent. I don't. So let's say your kid hits his little sister and you hit him and tell him it's not okay.
Right.
Okay. So you literally just told him it's okay that you hit him because you're bigger than him or whatever. I don't know. Spanking as far as I'm concerned, is not okay.
Yeah, just because some people are brought up a certain way doesn't mean that it's right. It's up to you to.
And I actually had my mom send me an email and tell me how grateful she was that I didn't spank my kids, because she realized after the fact, obviously, that it was wrong.
Well, sometimes it takes that.
Right, and it is wrong.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like a little like pat on the butt. What he did was he drew blood. I mean, it was awful.
Apparently, like, he didn't really have a close relationship with that child either, and it was just like he was probably in town or around visiting the kid, and he just, because he did something wrong, so he felt the need to punish him because he's his father or whatever, technically. But
well, yeah, in quotations, he's the father.
Yeah.
I mean, really, seriously. I mean, we could talk for an hour about professional athletes that have kids by like 18 different women, or I mean, let's look at Cromartie. I mean, I think I literally saw something on Twitter that said he just had his 14th
he did.
kid.
I think it's his third after his vasectomy too.
Okay, well, maybe go to the doctor. I mean, I don't know. I don't even understand.
I did look it up, though. I think this is his sixth he's had with this woman. So at least he's keeping a good streak going along.
But I mean,
it's hard for the kids though too.
Right, because what kind of relationship are they even going to have?
Yeah.
You're one of 14.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'm one of 2. Right?
Yeah.
I don't even get it. I don't understand. There's a very, I wish I could teach like NFL player 101.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would volunteer myself to go and talk to these guys. Be like, look, here's the thing. You don't want to pay for this kid for 18 years? Wrap it. Maybe it doesn't feel good. Don't care. Okay? Cover it up. Protect yourself. Don't create a kid that you aren't even going to be involved with. But they don't. Like, I don't even understand. Like, I see and the women are just as bad. I mean, I'm not just getting on the guys here.
Yeah.
The women are just as bad. They see these kids as a paycheck.
Yeah, there's people that go out there and look to exploit guys that are in the league. So,
and just can somebody please be smart? Like, at least somebody.
You mentioned that you worked in a school.
I do.
Do you remember
what
some of the reactions were from like the students or whatever when the news about Peterson came out?
And I've always worked in elementary. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least for the last 20 years. So it never came up. Like, they're kind of insulated from it. I don't know what the older kids thought. So I never really did have conversations with kids about, the Adrian Peterson thing, because they were kind of not really privy.
Yeah, they were concerned about, like Legos and stuff. If I remember correctly, Peterson was suspended for the rest of the season originally before he had an appeal and all that other nonsense. But do you think his original punishment from the NFL was sufficient enough?
Here's the thing, and I would say yes, but the NFL has incredibly wishy-washy rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we're seeing that with the whole
Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh my God, exactly. And then they suspended the kicker, I think Josh Brown.
Yep. Yeah, he's a free agent now, so that matters a lot.
Right, and so they suspended him like after the fact for additional games.
Yep, after he got paid.
It's like, can you just have a policy and then enforce it, but just like unilaterally enforce it? Because that's why they're having issues. I don't even like Goodell. Just get your crap together. Get your shit together. Seriously, like, just figure out what the punishment is, and then dole that out. But you have to do it equally. Like, there's just this weird up and down, and honestly, it's a discredit for abused women and children. It's just, figure out what the punishment is and then apply that unilaterally. And they don't. Like, it's, I mean, we obviously have seen what is happening with Ezekiel Elliott. He's like, his lawyers appealed, and then there's a restraining order, and so he's playing, and
oh yeah,
just figure it out and just be fair. Like, but they're not.
Yeah, if it comes out that Elliott, he's not guilty and he didn't do anything, then fine. But let that. Well, actually, it did happen in the court or whatever, the court system. He was found not guilty or whatever, or charges were dropped. But the NFL still went ahead and suspended him.
But, okay, so if we want to address that, I mean, there's seriously, because the number of, and this is not specific to the NFL, but just unilaterally, like, the number of rapes that happen and that are reported are so few.
Oh yeah.
Because the burden of proof is ridiculous. I mean, so she said it wasn't consensual. He said it was. I mean, so there's a whole disconnect there.
Yeah, and the people that actually do make that stuff up just hurt the other people that, don't in the long run.
And I'm just going to say, honestly, I don't think the vast majority of rape victims who report being raped are making it up.
No.
I'm just going to, because you put yourself out there and it's scary.
Especially with someone who's in like the NFL or something like that.
Right, because you're going against basically the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that there haven't been cases of women who lie and say they were raped, because it's happened and we've seen it. And you're right, it does seriously take away from the legitimacy of women who have been raped. And those women, as far as I'm concerned, if you falsely charge someone with rape and you weren't raped, you should be charged.
Yeah. Because it ruins it for everybody else.
Exactly. And so few women want to come forward, and that's part of the reason.
Well, okay, let's get to a little football.
Well, yeah, we're just like super lightweight topic here, right?
Well, sort of football, but okay, so the Vikings drafted Dalvin Cook this year to pretty much replace Peterson. Now, he fell to the second round because of some so-called character concerns. He was actually accused of punching a woman in a Florida bar back in 2015, but was later found not guilty. He also had some other run-ins with the law, but nothing since that incident back in 2015. How did you feel about the Vikings drafting a player like that? Were you aware of this stuff before the Vikings
I was.
added him?
Yeah, I was, because I do my research, and I will just be honest, I wasn't a fan of the pick because of those incidents.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, he's a kid. Like, he literally was a kid.
Still is.
He still is, exactly. I'm not forgiving him for what happened.
No.
But at this point, I'm like, okay, so show me what you got. Not just on the field, like, and obviously after Monday night's game, we have seen what he can do.
Yeah.
What are you going to do as an adult? Like, you're an adult now, and you have responsibilities, and I've not seen anything from him that sends up red flags.
No, yeah, he seems like he's in a good situation with the Vikings. Like, he has a lot of friends on that team, and they seem to be keeping a good eye on him.
Well, and that's the thing about the Vikings. I feel like they do want to draft guys that are good guys.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have drafted him if they didn't figure he was a good guy and they could surround him with a lot of support.
Yeah, so then my next question was, do you view his situation differently than Peterson's? Like, and I think you answered it when you said that, he's younger, he's a kid, and he made mistakes. Well, what happened to Peterson, he was an adult. That was like 3 years ago?
Right. a grown man, like switching a kid, like a 5-year-old. I don't know if he was 5 or 6, but he was a little kid.
4 years old.
He was 4. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, even worse. So, and then you saw the pictures, and then he was acting like it was no big deal.
Right.
Like, oh, ha ha ha! I just switched your kid.
Yeah, he only apologized because of legal reasons or whatever.
Well, and he basically came out and said that's what we do in the South.
Yeah, he would say I'm sorry and then be like, but
right,
that's what we do.
There's always a but.
Yeah. If there was video of perhaps of Dalvin Cook doing some of this stuff, do you think that would have made a difference? Like, obviously, it seems to have an impact on stuff like with Peterson in the pictures. You have Ray Rice in the video, and you had the Joe Mixon video from last year. How much of an impact do you think that has on incidents like this?
Well, I mean, I think it would have probably had a more significant impact because, you're imagining it. You don't. I mean, with the Ray Rice video, it was like, holy crap. He, literally just co-cocked her and, right?
Yep.
And with Peterson, you had the pictures. So I feel like it could have made a difference, but we didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, even with Joe Mixon, that video came out, and he still went in the second round. So, I mean, I don't know if teams are willing to give those kinds of players more of a chance, or they're just he was too talented to pass up. I think had a little bit to do with that too.
Well, and I do. I agree. But I feel like, I'm hoping that the Vikings looked at that and said, you know what? This is a kid who did something stupid, and we can help him grow as a person and a player. And that's why they drafted him.
At Dalvin Cook?
But, right, exactly.
All right, so let's actually get back to the football field. Adrian Peterson is now on the Saints, and he came back to play the Vikings in Week 1, and he did absolutely nothing. He had 6 carries for 18 yards and 1 mean stare down for Saints head coach Sean Payton. Peterson's career in the NFL is very close to being over, isn't it?
It is, and he kind of falls under that. So my thing is, if you're a great NFL player, if I were a great NFL player, which I'm not, I would want to go out. I am not. No. I mean, I would love to be, but I'm the wrong gender and also probably way too short and many other things. I don't think I'd take direction well from a coach, so I'd probably get canned right away. He just falls under that, I wish you would have retired on top. If I were a player, and there's money, I get it. But Adrian Peterson has been paid,
yeah,
right? So much money. I want to go out on top. I don't want to be Brett Favre 2010. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It just go out on top. And there are so many players. I think it's just in their being, they don't want to let it go. And I feel like that's where AP is. Although I think there's a huge disconnect between what he can do and what he thinks he can do.
A huge disconnect between his brain and reality.
Right. Exactly. Because we saw that. Monday night, everyone was like, oh my God, AP is going to wreck us and blah, blah, blah. No, I never thought for a second that he would do anything.
No. I saw the other day he hasn't had a 100-yard game since 2015. So,
right.
It's been a while. It's probably time to just
hang it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll make it through this season. There's already some talk about him being let go by the middle of the season by the Saints because he just doesn't fit on that team. They have enough. They don't really need him, and they don't need. I
didn't even understand why they signed him because he didn't fit in to begin with.
Well, the conspiracy theorists out there will say that after the schedule came out and it's the Saints and the Vikings on Monday night, somebody from, the NFL office, a little call to the Saints and was like, "Hey, Adrian Peterson's still out there. Why don't you guys sign him? Get some more people to watch the game on Monday night."
And that doesn't surprise me because I'm sure that was a draw. He talked a lot of smack about sticking it to the Vikings, and yeah, didn't happen.
No.
And then there was that awesome, like, everyone I'm sure has probably seen it, that on Twitter everyone was like, "Oh, hey, do you see this? I don't know if it's GIF or GIF. I never know. Is it GIF or GIF?"
Well, I think GIF's the peanut butter, so I say GIF.
GIF?
Yeah.
With him barking at Sean Payton.
Yeah, the one where he's staring at him with all beady-eyed and everything.
Right, and then he came out and he actually tweeted that he told Peyton that they should shove it up the donkey, which is apparently code for ass. No, like, I've read that. Like, I legit saw his tweet about...
He tweeted that?
He did. I saw it. Like, I actually had someone... Apparently ESPN tweeted the GIF about, with him, like, jawing at Peyton, and he said, "Oh, well, for the record, I was just saying we should shove it up their donkey."
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He looked pissed. Like, he legit looked pissed on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think he was in the game for 9 snaps?
Because he's done. I mean, but apparently he has not received that message that he's done. So, yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, it's hard for those guys. Well, hard for those guys, but they don't know anything else. They've been playing football since they were 10 years old. So the fear of having to do something not on the field is kind of, I think, keeps them from retiring.
Well, and because what the hell else is he gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. He's not really
he's not gonna be in broadcasting.
No, he's not a good speaker.
No, not at all. Like, he's bad, like, very bad, like, also not smart. I'm just gonna say, not smart. So
he'll probably own a gym or something.
Right. I'm sure it'll be like, hey, come train with AP, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he has no future in broadcasting or whatever. So I get that he wants to try and milk it, but at the same time, have some pride, man. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
Just wrap it up.
Even Chad Greenway said, I'm good.
Right. And that, so much respect. So much respect for Chad Greenway, because he was an amazing player for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And then he saw the writing on the wall. It was like, I'm too slow. I'm too old. And I'm done.
Well, you look at Brian Robinson right now. He obviously knows he's not as good as he used to be, so he's taking a lesser role, and he's fine with that because he knows. I always thought if Adrian Peterson, if he would just suck it up and be like a goal line back, he would be so good at that position. Just like your team gets down to the 5-yard line, just give it to Peterson, bring him in. He's gonna be fresh and he's gonna pound it in the end zone. I feel like he would have been so good in that kind of role, but he didn't want that. He wanted to be the guy.
Right, and he still does. I feel like he thinks he's 10 years younger than he is.
Well, he wants to play 7 more years.
It's not gonna happen. Just not gonna happen.
No.
No.
Do you own a jersey of his?
No.
No? Did
never
you ever?
Have.
Did you ever? No,
nope.
You never have?
Never.
Wow.
Nope.
How many Vikings jerseys do you actually own?
Right now?
Yeah.
I have 3.
3?
I have Teddy Bridgewater, Harrison Smith, and I just got Danielle Hunter.
Oh. Are your arms big enough to fit in the Danielle Hunter jersey?
No, not at all. Nope. Mm-mm. But he's the guy, he's the future. I have been on this kid since they drafted him. His pro day, whatever, I'm he's going to be a superstar, and he will. He's legit.
No, yeah, he's good. I was watching film of them today, and the only reason he was being stopped on Monday was because they were double teaming him like pretty much the whole time.
Well, they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what you do. Like, and that's why Everson got his sack, because Daniel's drawing the double coverage.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he had one guy on him, one guy to beat, and got by him. I got one last question for you. So I know you like to cook because you're always posting photos on Twitter and stuff.
I am.
But what is your favorite dish you have prepared in the last 6 months?
Oh, that's too hard. Like, I could pick.
Can we do 1 month? Is 1 month easier?
So I made shawarma. Like, I had never made shawarma in my life.
Yeah, what is that?
And what is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a Middle Eastern dish, and it's chicken, peppers, onions, but it has an amazing spice combination. Like, it's not hot, it's just the flavors are amazing. And someone actually on Twitter sent me a New York Post, I think it was New York Post, New York Times, maybe it was New York Times,
probably New York
recipe for it. I don't know, whatever.
Probably not the Post.
So she sent me, she's like, here's the recipe, and I followed it, kind of, sort of, because I generally don't always follow the recipe. Like, if you call for 3 cloves of garlic, I'm going to put like 6 cloves of garlic because I love garlic.
Yeah, unless you're baking.
Right. And that's why I don't really like to bake, because it has to be exact.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I love to play. Like, in the kitchen, I love to, I rarely follow a recipe. Like, I'll start out, but then I'm throwing everything in, like tasting and throwing everything else in. But the shawarma was amazing. So it was this tender, juicy chicken with this amazing Middle Eastern flavor, and then there was red peppers and onions. Serve it in a pita. I made some homemade tzatziki sauce, which was ridiculous.
What's that?
Oh my god. Tzatziki.
Sorry, I haven't had any. I don't think I've ever eaten Middle Eastern food.
I know, but I would love to invite you over for dinner, but you live like
1,000 miles away.
Exactly.
That's
but
okay.
if you ever come to Minneapolis, let me know. I'll have you over for dinner.
All right. Did anyone teach you how to cook?
No.
No. Did you learn?
Nope.
Just by trial and error, pretty much?
Yeah. So the first meal I ever made for my husband before we were husband and wife was a really super dry chicken, and it was terrible, and he ate it and told me how great it was, and I thought, oh my god, I should probably marry this guy. And I did. But no, I it's just gut. Like, it's gut instinct. Like, I find a recipe and I might start out with that, but then I completely tweak it. But just cooking, that's what I love about cooking, is because it's not exact. Like, baking is exact.
Yeah. And
I love to improvise, and that's why I feel like I'm a way better cook than a baker.
Well, I got a dish for you maybe to try out. I don't know if you've heard of this before. You like spicy food? You like spicy food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so look up chicken riggies.
Chicken what?
Chicken riggies. Riggies. Yep.
Riggies.
Well, it's short for rigatoni. So it's basically just chicken, mozzarella cheese, rigatoni, and like a spicy tomato sauce. It's got like hot peppers and stuff in it. It's so good.
Well, I make my own marinara sauce.
Yeah,
I do my own meatballs.
So does my wife.
My own marinara sauce. Well, your wife is Italian, right?
Yeah.
So
she kind of has to.
This is legit from an Italian.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, she's a good cook and I'm a good eater, so the relationship works out pretty well. Are you looking up right now?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna.
Okay. All right. Look it up later, but I think that's gonna do it for today.
Cool.
I think we're good. Thanks for joining me, Di. Di is short for what? Diana?
Diane.
Diane.
With 2 N's.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me, Di. And perhaps we'll talk in the future, but enjoy the rest of the Vikings season, and thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.